In a quiet village, surrounded by rolling green fields, lived a boy named Ethan. At 16, Ethan was bright-eyed and clever, but he was also incredibly lazy. Every morning, while the sun stretched across the horizon, he'd lie in bed, watching the light dance on the walls, thinking, "Why move when I can just watch?" Everyone knew him as the boy who could do anything if he tried, but he rarely did. Today, we're going to follow Ethan's journey and see how even the laziest person can find a spark, rise to a challenge, and prove themselves. And as you watch, you'll pick up simple words and ideas to practice in your own life. Ethan lived with his parents in a modest cottage. His father worked tirelessly in the rice fields, planting and watering under the hot sun. Ethan's only job was to keep the birds away. But instead of chasing them with sticks like everyone else, Ethan found a clever shortcut. He built a series of wooden poles across the fields, connecting them with ropes. When birds came near, the ropes would swing and startle them. This way, Ethan could just lie down, sip water, and watch, doing almost nothing. His father noticed this clever trick, but worried, thinking, "If I fall ill, how will Ethan manage everything?" But since Ethan always finished his small tasks, his father never scolded him. Then, summer arrived, and with it, a harsh, dry season. Ethan's father fell sick, unable to care for the fields. For the first time, Ethan had to handle everything alone. Weeks passed, and despite his clever ideas, the crops began to wither. One night, as he sat under the stars, feeling the weight of helplessness, he whispered to himself, "Why didn't I ever try harder?" The very next morning, the village was buzzing with news. A herald had arrived, announcing a grand competition at the king's palace. The prize, a chest of gold enough to save Ethan's family from ruin. Without a second thought, Ethan declared he would join. The villagers laughed. How can someone so lazy compete with the strongest youth in the kingdom? They murmured. But Ethan paid them no attention. He had 3 days to reach the palace, and with a new fire in his eyes, he set off at dawn. His parents watched quietly, hoping this journey would awaken something new in their son. Upon arriving at the palace, Ethan faced his first challenge, crossing a wide, sparkling lake. The other competitors jumped in, swimming with powerful strokes, their muscles straining against the waves. Ethan hesitated. He knew he wasn't the fastest swimmer. Then an idea struck him. He sprinted to a nearby forest, gathered fallen branches, and tied them together, fashioning a small raft. Using a sturdy piece of wood as a paddle, he floated across the lake. While others struggled and grew tired, Ethan moved slowly but steadily. One by one, he passed several strong competitors. By the end, he finished third, qualifying for the next round. His clever thinking had turned his weakness into an advantage. The following day, the final challenge began. Each contestant received a massive wooden block and was told to move it 1 kilometer to the finish line. Various tools were placed nearby, and they could choose only one. The first competitor grabbed a rope, the second a lever, and they started straining, muscles bulging. Ethan, however, paused. "I can't win by force," he thought. "I need to think smarter." Minutes passed as he examined the block. Finally, he chose a small knife. The crowd gasped, confused. How could such a tiny tool possibly help? Ethan knelt down and began carving the block, slowly shaping it into a round, smooth wooden ball. After an hour of focused work, he was finished. Pushing it was now effortless. Rolling swiftly along the road, Ethan overtook the struggling contestants, one by one. The crowd erupted as Ethan crossed the finish line first. Through cleverness, focus, and a calm strategy, the lazy boy had triumphed. His love for his family had given him the motivation to rise above his old habits, and the lesson from his victory was crystal clear. Great reasons create great results. Just as we saw Ethan turn his laziness into clever action, you too can find motivation in your life. The key is to identify a strong reason, whether it's for your family, your dreams, or just to prove something to yourself. When challenges seem too big, don't rush, pause, observe, and think smart. Hard work doesn't always mean brute force. Sometimes, your mind is your strongest tool. Today, we learned a few things through Ethan's story. How small, clever actions can lead to big outcomes, and how determination, combined with creativity, can overcome any obstacle. Remember, learning and improving can be enjoyable if you approach it with curiosity and focus. Ethan's journey reminds us, great reasons create great results. Repeat this to yourself whenever you feel stuck. Motivation doesn't come from desire alone, it comes from having a real purpose. Whether you're facing mountains of work, personal challenges, or moments of doubt, a clear goal can transform hesitation into powerful action. If this story touched you, take a moment to reflect on your own great reason. What is it that drives you? And if it inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe so more people can discover the power of determination, clever thinking, and heart. Thanks for watching.